it on the YouTube's. But we got
No, I'm ready to just go. I can
okay.
multitask.
Okay, all right, cool, awesome. All right, so let me bring up the first video real quick. All right, so this. Okay, I gotta start the timer. There we go. Okay, this was reported off of IGN.com. Kojima explains Death Stranding gameplay and lore. Hideo Kojima on what happens when your character dies, Timefall, and the ambiguous baby. This is also written by who's his writer? Oh, Marty Silva. Yeah, I know that guy, somewhat. So they did an entire interview, and I'll put the link in the chat in a minute. The entire interview with Hideo Kojima. So like, what exactly is this game? Because like, as far as we've seen trailers, as far as like what was depicted, like we have seen no gameplay, and knowing Kojima in his weird mind, like he's definitely is put it to is what exactly is he going for? Nobody exactly knows. So they finally interviewed. They got him down to ask him a few questions, and they finally got some answers. And I'll probably the one thing I would point out is Timefall is basically the rain that hits the guy in this new trailer you see right behind us. It ages people, so that's basically what that is. The babies and robots thing, like apparently there's some connection to where the babies are connected as limbs. So it sounds like maybe like the baby that is involved in the story has some sort of use, kind of like almost like an inhibitor, or like I'm saying like a battery, but like from the sounds of things, it looks like when you put the thing on, or the baby inside your suit, it allows you to do some other things, from my guess. And then he kind of references this whole stick and rope thing. I think the coolest part out of all of this was the fact that like the whole death mechanic, where when you die in the game, you don't necessarily hit the game over screen or continue from where you left off. It's the cool mechanic I like about it is that it's basically when you die, you get to move around, you get to explore the world, and then come back whenever you want to your body to continue. And when you do that, you may see. Now, I don't think you'll see multiple bodies of yourself, but you'll see like multiple like crevices of where you died at, which I think is really cool. It reminds me of like a bit of Dark Souls, and it sounds a little bit like Stranger Things with the upside down world as well. So.
He was very adamant in that interview, like, in other games, it's like the old arcade games where you die and just go back to a checkpoint. It's like, yeah, you're not wrong. Like most games are like that, Kojima, but at the same time, I mean, there are tons of games that already have a similar mechanic, where death isn't death, and the game tells you that you dying isn't necessarily dying. It's just like this particular body of you died, which is what he's doing. Notably, the Shadow of War series.
Oh yeah, okay, what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. You don't technically die in that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other games that do it too. I don't remember which off the top of my head, but I don't know, man. Like it just like I love Kojima's games. Do not get me wrong, but at the same time, like I kind of feel like they are a little pretentious.
You could say that. I do remember there was an interview where Greg Miller had an interview with Kojima regarding Death Stranding and Metal Gear and whatnot, just kind of like a history of what happened or how much you can get out of them. And one of the things that he figured out was like, this is going to be an open world shooter or open world game, because Kojima is been doing that for most of his life anyways. So it would make sense that he's making another open world third person type of game. So, which on top of this, like it is definitely something that I think. Again, I think that you and I agree with this. Like, he has definitely become what's the term? Martyr, or basically whatever.
That Kojima's become a martyr?
Yeah.
Not a martyr, but a pariah, if you will.
Okay. Pariah, because like whatever and you said during the Game Wars, like whatever this man creates, everybody's gonna buy no matter what.
Well, the reason I say a pariah versus a martyr is that a martyr basically is like he's ruined and he intentionally accepted the ruination for the sake of like something.
Yeah.
And that's not what's happening here. So
yeah.
But one thing that Kojima definitely like kind of goes into in that interview is that he adores the fans. He adores what the speculation the fans come up with. He adores the ideas that they come up with. He adores the let me push my camera down a little bit there.
Yep.
Double link.
I know, sorry about that. I was like, I should put this in the chat. It's like, oh, I did that. Oops, my bad.
But what he hates, what makes him hurt is when people assume or accuse him of wasting money and taking too much time and not putting any money into it, like stuff like that. That's what really hurts him, because he's like, there's a ton of work that's going into it constantly. Like we're dealing with an entirely new engine because we want to make the game unique.
Yeah.
We're dealing with an entirely new game style here. We're doing something with this engine that the other developers who've used this engine aren't doing. Like all kinds of stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, you know what? This goes back to a conversation that we had. It reminded me of a conversation that we've had on this podcast that I've had with friends, and that's the whole like, what is a problem with the game industry? Well, a problem with the game industry is that people just don't have the patience, or developers don't, or publishers don't have patience anymore. So somebody like Kojima sitting there working tirelessly for years on a game, and there's an announcement, and then they're like, we need another 3 years to work on it, but the developer's like, nope, push it out now. It seems like general consensus for a game dies off after a couple of years, or general consensus interest dies off after a couple of years, and I feel like he's experiencing that full force right now. Like people are just like, they want the game so bad and like right now so badly that there's no waiting. Like fans just don't have the patience.
I would agree to you to some degree on that. But
well, of course it's to some degree. This isn't an absolute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because there's been examples of games that have been in the development for a very long time, and when they came out, like it was all the fanfare in the world, and everybody loved it and whatnot. And I don't disagree. Like that is definitely an issue with the game industry and people in general regarding like, yeah, like we want it now. We want to play this game now. Like when is it coming out? Yada yada yada. So like, the thing what I like about Sony, what they're doing is that they're giving him, at least from the outset, they're giving him all the time in the world. They're giving as much money as he wants to make whatever game he wants to make, and
which is great. But here at the end of the day, Anthony, at the end of the day, they can give him as much time and money as they want. If the fans lose interest, that's a problem. That's a bigger problem for them.
And to that, I'd point to what was a game that was basically that Team Ico made. Not the was it shot was the rat bird thing that you interacted with.
My neck hurt today so bad. Rat bird thing.
Yeah, it was your pet. I gotta look it up. Hang on, Team Eco. What I'm trying to say is that they gave Team Eco.
Yeah, you're talking about Last Guardian.
Yes, they gave that team 10 plus years to make that game, and that was on a PS3 originally, and then transferred to PS4. So if anybody has patience when it comes to game developers taking a very long time to make a game, it would be Sony.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, like Sony's still like. That's what's fascinating. When you look at the different publishers, I'm not talking about developers. When you look at different publishers and how they're willing to give developers the time they need, either Valera is very late or didn't hear.
It's that 40-second delay, or in some cases, it's 40-second plus delay.
40-second delay. you look at different publishers and you see how they interact. You look at EA, and EA is very multiplayer focused. You look at Sony, and they seem to be very single player focused.
Right.
You look at Activision, and they're kind of on the middle ground. Different companies have different aspects to what they want their developers to do, and or like how much freedom they want to give them. This is the argument I hear all the time for why indie games are on the front foot of yada yada whatever. For me, there are there are so many games that come out year round that, for me, as a gamer, not just a reviewer, not just this podcaster, but as a gamer, to go to Jesus, that's a hell of a delay. But for me, as a gamer, as somebody who just plays video games, to be that concerned with the development time of a game is absurd. Like, I, on my Xbox right now, have Fortnite, PUBG, Overwatch, Battlefront 2, and Wolfenstein, Zelda, and what else do I have? Oh, I have that Floor Kids game, which I needed a review of. I have, I'm trying to go through Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale game. I just downloaded Marlo Briggs that I want to play. Like, I have a lot of games to play. I'm not concerned with how long Death Stranding takes to be developed. I'm not concerned with how long Kingdom Hearts 3 is being taken to develop.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your point. I think that definitely more time in games, the better it will be. And yeah,
well, I think more people should be like that. I think more people should look at the aspect of, we already have too many games. Play those games while you're waiting for the game that you want.
Pretty much, it just comes down to patience. And for whatever weird thing Kojima is making for this game, it's regardless when it comes out, it's going to be
It's gonna be weird and cool and fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
People are gonna buy it, and it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be awesome. All right, moving on to our next story, and this actually is a interview. Actually, hang on.